Hey everyone, thanks for attending today's webinar on increasing profitability through data-driven decisions. I will be holding time at the end for questions, but please feel free to start writing them now or during the interview, and we'll definitely get to them. To introduce myself, my name is Michael Spell. I'm a sales engineer here at Lightspeed. Our guest speaker today is Mitsuko Osugi. Mitsuko is the Director of Operations and Support at Cook Culture. Cook Culture is a multi-store kitchen goods retailer based in the Vancouver area. They sell home goods like pots and pans, blenders, and even kitchen tools. Mitsuko, what else is interesting about your business?
We also have a teaching facility attached to two of our schools where we do evening and daytime cooking classes with local chefs and the general public. Our sales team, they're all a great group of professionals who are passionate about food, and it really comes through in how they sell our products to our customers. And our cooking classes are geared towards home cooks, so they range from things like knife skills classes, gluten-free classes, making pasta from scratch. Pretty much any sort of interesting skill that you want to learn, we're teaching it. And we're very aware of how the landscape of retail is changing with how the internet has become so prevalent in people's lives and the ability to price shop. We know that customers are still very much looking for experts that they can talk to and the ability to try and feel our products. So we try to deliver that service to our customers. So my job, I am the, I see you just put a question up, what does success look like to you? So my job is to ensure that our systems are working together and to find and develop new systems. So that's anything from working with our buyer to simplify her reordering so that she can spend more time sourcing and finding new products, to working in the stores, ensuring that their point of sale system is up and running and is simple and clean and easy to use so that the sales associates are spending their time on the floor selling and not behind a computer figuring things out. Most of my time is just spent breaking apart systems and putting them back together and just trying to find out ways that systems don't work for us so that we can ensure that they will always work for us.
Awesome. And how many locations do you guys currently have?
We have 4 store locations and an online store as well.
Fantastic. Okay, so based off of your experience, and I know this could be subjective, but currently what does success look like to you?
At the core, our success is measured by our profitability. Obviously, if we're not profitable, we're not being very successful. But we also look at success as more than just our profitability. We measure our success on, when customers come into the store, are we able to satisfy their needs? If they're looking for some sort of a specialized tool that they're not going to find at most other retailers, do we carry that product? Such as customers who come in, baking bread right now is really big right now. People will come in looking for those blades that are specifically used for scoring the tops of your bread. We make sure we carry those sort of products at all times so that when our customers come in, they have a successful experience with us finding what they're looking for. We are also find that we are successful when our marketing is engaging with our customers. So our various tools, we're able to measure how much actual engagement we get with our viewers or our readers. So when we have a higher engagement rate, we know that that campaign or that email or whatnot was a success. And then also our sales team. We wouldn't be here without an amazing sales team. So when they are trained, they know their goods, they know how to sell, and when they're happy, we know that that's also a big factor in our success. And then finally, our systems. When our systems are just running and our stores and our anyone in the office doesn't have to think about it, they just can do their jobs, that's also a big measure of our success.
Awesome. And sort of on the topic of profitability, how do you guys currently monitor how your stores are doing, or what are some of the metrics you're currently tracking to gauge the profitability of your stores?
So there's 2 major ways or 2 areas that we measure our profitability in. So at store level, we measure how effective our traffic conversion is, so basically the number of people who come in the door, how many of those people are becoming paying customers. We measure overall what the sales are that we're making at a store. We measure our average transactions, so that's how much on average, how much does someone spend when they spend with us in a given day? We measure our margin, which is, how much profit are we making on the day. And we also measure our customer email capture rate. Basically, when we process a transaction with a customer, we are always trying to get their emails, because a big part of how we market to our customers is through our email marketing. And then from our inventory perspective, we measure our KVI in stock. So for us, KVI means key value items. These are items which we must carry at all times for customers to recognize that we are a serious kitchen goods store. So it's not necessarily just our top sellers, like specific blenders, but it can be little things like the LEM, the scoring tool for making your bread, or fermentation kits, things that people are coming in that they're looking for, that they know that they feel that they should be able to expect us to carry. That's what a KVI is for us, and so we need to make sure we always keep those in stock. Another way we measure our profitability is through our turns. So basically, how often is a product coming into our store and then being sold? So the quicker something is turning, the quicker something comes in and goes back out, the higher our cash, or the better our cash flow, and the better we're managing our inventory. So we're not just sitting on inventory that's not moving. And then our other measure is our GMROI. So that's gross margin return on inventory investment. Basically, if we spend $1 on an item, how much do we put back in the bank for that item when it has sold? So a higher GMROI indicates that we're making higher profit on that item than a lower GMROI. And it also is related to how much inventory we're carrying on an average period. So it's measuring both the profitability and the amount of time something is sitting on our shelves.
Awesome.
So, and then all of those metrics are then gauged against our targets.
Awesome. And that's a good segue in terms of sales and inventory, because you're monitoring both your GMROI and your turns. What really motivates your buying decisions and whether you reorder something?
So in order to reorder something, it needs to have sold. We're not going to reorder things, obviously, that are just sitting there. So there's a few things that our buyer looks at when she is reordering. So she considers, is this a key value item? So it may be something that doesn't sell very often, doesn't make us a lot of money, but it is something that our customers expect us to carry, so she will reorder those. Other items which, don't really sell, she probably will just wait on those. Then she also looks at recent sales and historical sales for an item. So, how well did something sell in the most recent history, and then how well did it sell, last year for the upcoming period, so that she can give a bit of a forecast on how things will sell, which is really good for ordering for seasonality. And then what sort of sales have we been seeing from this vendor or this category? If we've been seeing sales growth or sales declines, she may consider whether to continue ordering with this vendor or to increase ordering with this vendor. And then as well, looking at the turns and the GMROI of the products. And then when it's new products, it's always questions about, is this going to be something that customers find useful? Is this something that's gimmicky, or is it actually something that provides a function? Is it unique? Is it on trend? How is the price? Are customers going to see value in this item, or are they going to just see it as too expensive or too cheap?
Awesome. And understanding that for an item to be reordered, it has to be an item that you've had in stock before. How are you really gauging the success of an order? Is it monitoring the turns in the GMROI, or what kind of goes all into deciding whether or not you should reorder some inventory?
So that a lot of that comes from whether or not how we measure whether an order has been successful is based on how well it's sold. How fast did it turn? What was the GMROI? What was our staff reaction to the product? If the staff say, this product was amazing, you didn't order enough, like bring in 20 times what you did, that really factors into an order, because in so many ways, looking at all these numbers on a computer, it only gives you one part of the picture. We do need to have our sales staffs, we need to have their opinion as well.
Sure, absolutely. And kind of going into that context, because customers are such a valuable aspect of that, and kind of understanding what they like to buy and making sure that you're kind of providing the needs of the customer. how are you capturing customer information? What information are you currently looking to capture? And really, how do you leverage that information?
Okay. So when we are transacting with a customer, we try to get their their first and their last name, their phone number, and their email address. What we use their email addresses for our email marketing, which we do through MailChimp. We have an integration actually with Lightspeed through channels to connect that our email in Lightspeed with MailChimp, so that's completely seamless, which is great. And we also enroll our customers in our Culture Club rewards program. So that gives them an incentive to continue to shop with us, and that as well as an integration with Third Shelf through Lightspeed. So it's another system that we use that's just totally seamless. But that's a program that really rewards our customers, and is a good way to entice them to give us their information.
And since you guys are doing a great job of capturing that customer information, what are some of the things that you do internally to try to acquire new customers?
We do a lot of email campaigns, and we're active on Facebook and Instagram and email, like through MailChimp. We want a lot of word of mouth and engagement through social media. We don't really do a lot of marketing in traditional media. We find we get a lot better response from customers through social media and through our email campaigns. They get to know who we are a little bit better at our core than just some quick snippet on, in a magazine or in a newspaper ad.
And because you guys invest so much in not only acquiring new customers, but retaining those customers, what are you guys doing currently to increase the value of one of your customers? Are there any internal upsell or marketing strategies you could share?
Yeah. So we know we'll always have more success by rewarding and building on our existing customers rather than trying to market to new customers. There's been a lot of studies out there that have shown that you could invest $1 in 100 random people, and you might get back one person. Or if you invest that $1 in an existing customer, you'll get them back. So you get a higher return on your investment by trying to promote to your existing people. They are already interested in being loyal with you, or with us, I should say. So what we did is at the end of November last year, we launched our Culture Club rewards program, which is through Third Shelf. And we use that to market directly to our existing customer database. We send them out incentives to come shop in store. Recently, we did one where if they came in and spent $75, they got a free $15 tool, which had a huge success rate. There was nothing that the customer really had to do. There was no points that they had to worry about. They were coming in to buy anyways. They got a free thing. And we use also our and then we also send out our email newsletters to our customers, which have things like recipes and Q&As and videos and new products and offers, just these things where we already have customers and people who are interested in who we are, and we just continually engage with them and send them information that's relevant to them so that they will continue to shop with us and see us as a resource. And then we also post almost daily on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, just because capturing customer information is amazing, but you need kind of a great staff to establish good behaviors and really drive that across the organization. How are you guys currently assessing an employee performance, or what do you guys consider a high-performing employee for you?
So we track each of our staff persons' individual customer capture rate, and by doing that, we can see that who is doing really well at getting people's contact information and having them enrolled in our Culture Club, and we can also see who needs more training. We also measure our staff people's product knowledge, because if they don't know what we're selling and they don't know how to talk about the product, it erodes a lot of our customers' confidence. And then we're always training them on new products or existing products. And then we also do we have programs for training them to be better salespeople. So better sales techniques than just walking up to someone and saying, can I help you with that? Or, hi. We're trying to teach them so that they can actually be more engaging, so that customers don't just put up their natural defense of, I'm just looking, I'm just browsing. So for us, a high-performing employee is someone who has a higher customer email capture rate, they know our products, they're engaging with their customers, and obviously they're also able to close sales.
Awesome. Yeah, and I mean, you're doing a great job in a lot of things, monitoring your inventory performance, providing enough training and support to your sales staff so they can achieve, and really leveraging your customers and already repeat customers to really drive value and increase that internally. Just because you're kind of handling a lot of things in all of those three segments, what advice can listeners act on immediately? Are there some specific aspects of the conversation that, even if it was new, what are some key pieces of advice that you would give to our listeners?
So there's probably, 3 or 4 things I would suggest. One is how to continue, or, focus on continually engaging with your existing customers. There are already people who have had a positive experience with you and already have some investment in your company. So try to find ways to continue to have them shop with you. It's a lot easier to keep those customers and keep those customers happy than to just try and get someone off the street to become a new and loyal customer. Another thing I would suggest is with inventory. I mean, I think we all know inventory is a crazy beast that can cause so many problems if we're not on top of it. So it's so important to know which of your products and your categories and your manufacturers and vendors, who are your best performers, who are your worst performers through GMROI and turns. And don't be afraid to cut that tail. If they're not performing, get rid of them, because all it's doing is tying up your cash. And then your staff, it's so important because they're the person who are representing your company. They're the people that your customers see when they walk in the door, and so they need to know what they're selling. They need to know how to engage with their customers. They can't be just a warm body standing on the sales floor. You don't really need someone like that. You need someone who will sell, who will close. And then, something that we do, I think, which might be a little bit more unique, is the key value items, is knowing which products do your customers come in that they expect to find when they come into your store. And those may not be items which are high sellers or high performers, but there's something that gives credibility to your business.
Awesome. Yeah, I think those are key pieces of advice that everyone could leverage to kind of increase their profitability on a day-to-day basis. Those are really all the questions I had today, but I know we also want to interact with our audience. So I think this is a good time to transition to the live Q&A. People have been asking questions, so I'll go ahead and pull up the questions themselves, and I'll read them out to you if they're directed at you, Mitsuko. If not, I'll read them out and answer them myself. So we can kind of go ahead and get started. The first question is, how do you measure your store's foot traffic, and what do you do with that data?
So with our foot traffic, we have scanners at our doors, and we use a company called SMS Traffic, and they are actually also integrated with Lightspeed, so they can give us a metric of what sales are we getting per person walking in the door by hour. And so we use that to be able to measure, our more profitable times of day. So we look for programs that integrate with Lightspeed. Makes it a lot easier for us.
And with your internal staff, a question is, how do you measure product knowledge?
So we don't have specific tests on that, but we're always, as a sales manager, our sales managers know who is strong and who isn't. And so they'll buddy people up with others who are strong. And we don't expect everyone to know everything. So everyone has things that they're more passionate about. We have one guy who, is passionate about knives. So he knows everything about our knives, but he's not strong in our cookware. And then we have another woman who is, so passionate about our cast iron. So, they'll work together where she will share some of her knowledge with him, enough that he can talk about the product, and he'll share his knowledge with her so that she knows enough to be able to talk about her product. And then if customers are really geeking out and want to know all those nitty-gritty details, they trade off. So, if someone's talking to her about knives and she's just getting to the point she can't answer the question, she'll pass the customer off to her colleague who just knows it inside and out.
Awesome.
So
the next question we have is regarding kind of integrating MailChimp and Third Shelf to Lightspeed. We can definitely talk about how you would integrate it and kind of what information you get pulled over, and then what aspects of Third Shelf do you use?
So with the integration for MailChimp and Third Shelf and Lightspeed, so right now, from what I figured out, MailChimp and Third Shelf aren't really integrated with each other. So, but MailChimp gets all of their emails directly from our Lightspeed email database. And third shelf is fed from our Lightspeed, excuse me, fed from our Lightspeed database as well for the people who choose to enroll. But we can use both of those to see who's engaging. It's a little more convoluted. I'm hoping that Lightspeed, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, will start to integrate more directly with MailChimp and a little bit better. But that's still sort of, I think, on the far away plan. So we're making do. And then with Third Shelf, we use that. So we can do email campaigns where we send out exclusive offers to our members. We use their points program. So when customers spend money with us, they earn points, and then they can redeem those points for special offers like $10 off their next transaction. One feature we use in Third Shelf, which is really fantastic right off the bat, is when they sign up with us, they get a $5 reward on their next transaction. So that's a really great enticement for someone who's thinking of coming back already to just be like, hey, if you sign up, you'll get $5 off your next transaction. People are always very excited about getting free $5. And then there's also a tier program, which we will be implementing, which is based on lifetime purchase. So customers who have spent a lot with us will become, a higher tier than customers who've only started on their spending journey with us, and those customers who have spent a lot will get even more rewards with us, because we want to spend our marketing money on these people who are already shopping with us.
Awesome. It sounds like you're using both systems in tandem pretty successfully. The next question is for you. I'm a new business. Your business sounds quite established. What are your top tips for growing a new business and gaining new loyal customers?
I think a lot of it is just having the customers who are already walking in your door are going to be your best ambassadors. You think about all those social media tools out there, and nobody really trusts generic faceless companies now. They trust what their friends are saying or what their peers are saying, and you can see that on websites like Amazon, the reviews on products, or Yelp. The people want to know what other people think of businesses before they start shopping there. So if you're able to really capture your loyal customers and turn them into your own ambassadors by giving them free things or giving them incentives to continue shopping at your store, having customer loyalty events, or offering things that your other local competitors that they can't do. If you're just the same as everyone else, you need to find ways to differentiate yourselves. Our local market is extremely competitive when it comes to kitchen stores, but nobody in our market has a cooking facility attached. Nobody has the staff who are passionate about cooking, and they don't try to really teach the customers. Their sales teams are all just people who stand on the floor and wait for you to buy things. They don't try and engage. So find what it is about your business that is unique from your competitors and just push through that.
Absolutely. The next question, is there a way in Lightspeed to see how many customers and employees signed up in a given time period? We will be introducing a brand new platform called Lightspeed Analytics that is going to be providing some really in-depth performance and analysis on your Lightspeed retail data. Following this meeting, we will be sending out a link for everyone who is attending to learn more. We've also recorded the session, so we'll pass that along. The next question is, what types of reports do you use on Lightspeed for GMROI, aging inventory, etc.? I'd be happy for you to touch on that, Mitsuko, but again, within Lightspeed Analytics, that's all possible.
Yeah, so we were using Lightspeed on its own before, and with 4 locations, I had to build programs through Excel to be able to pull that information out, and I'd have to run 16 to 32 reports before I'd get that information. We actually use Lightspeed Analytics. We've been using it for many months now, and it's vastly streamlined and smoothed out our reporting process. So I get all of that from analytics literally with a push of a button. So I don't have to sit there and wait for things to churn. It's just I put my dates in, I put my categories in, I push a button, it's there.
The next following questions are all around how to use some of the reporting in Lightspeed to calculate your GMROI or to segment your customer base or your capture rate per employee. These are all reports that are now available within Lightspeed Analytics. So I urge everyone who's attending to go to the website, learn a little bit more, and potentially schedule a demo so we'd be able to go through all of your data. The next question is, Mitsuko, do you use any CRM software? Is it effective in tracking your customer relationships?
So we use Less Annoying CRM for customer requests that are outside of products that we normally carry. So if a customer comes in looking for a product that we don't have or that we're out of stock on, we'll take down their information there and contact them when that product becomes available or when we have more information. But for the most part, we use Lightspeed for keeping our customer information in it, and that's what feeds everything else.
Awesome. The following question is, what does reports do Lightspeed provide to help analyze suppliers' performance? We're definitely providing reports. And then a question is, how do you determine the age of your inventory?
So I use it through Lightspeed Analytics. So basically it will tell us so I determine age of inventory is based on when did the item get received. So you can actually do this in Lightspeed, just a little bit more work. But you go to where is it? I'm just going to pull it up on my computer. You go to the report screen, go to received. From there you can see all of your inventory and when it was received on what purchase order. And then you can choose your date ranges. So you can choose, if you look at a date range that was 6 months ago and earlier, it'll tell you what of your inventory is still available or still on hand that was received over 6 months ago. So that's a pretty basic way of being able to find out what your old stock is. But now I don't use that. I use, again, analytics. It's a lot easier for us that way.
Amazing. Are you handling all your purchasing decisions or purchasing via Lightspeed, or do you use other tools as well?
We do, all of our purchasing is done through Lightspeed, and then the reports are fed through Lightspeed or from Lightspeed Analytics.
Fantastic. There's a question around how much will Lightspeed Analytics cost. I recommend reaching out to your sales rep and getting more information on the product, but we'll absolutely be able to provide you with that data. The last question is, do you consider the relationship of your vendors with starting or growing your buying with protecting, let me repeat this, I apologize. Do you consider the relationship of your vendors with starting or growing your buying by protecting the retail price, or do you just rely on presenting it better to your customers?
I think it depends on your market. So in our market, we've got there are a few vendors and a few categories which are extremely price competitive. So in that situation, we can't be at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. So now we're also in Canada. I mean, I'm not sure if this webinar is just for Canada, right?
It's for everywhere. Anyone who is interested in learning more about profitability.
Okay, so like in Canada, vendors cannot dictate what your minimum suggested retail price is. They can suggest, but they have no legal basis to enforce. So with our products, which are very, very highly price competitive, one example would be Vitamix, which is a very high power blender. If we were to have that at the suggested retail price, we'd get blown out of the water. So there are key items which we do have at a more aggressive price, typically only in store because we don't want to start wars online. But we for the most part we try to work with our vendors when we're not able to be when we can't really be at the regular price. Most vendors are open and will work with us. So for example, if we find that a blender, for example, our market is calling for it to be $10 less, we'll try and work with that vendor to see ways that we can offer a better price or offer something value added to it, so that they're not just feeling like their product is being devalued. So we'll do things, maybe we'll work with them and offer a $10 gift card or a $20 gift card to try and offset that competition.
Awesome. Okay, well, I want to thank everyone for participating in the demonstration today. A big thank you to you, Mitsuko, for working with us and really explaining some of the key components that you're measuring and kind of how you determine profitability and how you become successful. For everyone who is interested in learning more about Lightspeed Analytics, this session was recorded, please reach out to your reps to learn more. We're happy to schedule a demo and walk you through all the different reporting that'll now be available to you. And I really thank everyone for attending today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. I hope I didn't talk too fast.
No, not at all. Thanks, everyone. And really appreciate all of your time.
Have a great day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.